Welcome to this edition of Under the Radar for Saturday, May 27th. And let's be honest, why don't I just rename this weekly segment Uni Loonies or College Crazies? Because university campuses are without a doubt ground zero for social justice idiocy. But I think this latest incident at Evergreen State College, and which is still ongoing, has reached new heights of stupidity and is potentially dangerous. And I don't mean that in the SJW snowflake sense of equating words with violence, but real people's physical safety is actually under threat. White professor harassed for questioning diversity event. Students are calling for the resignation of an Evergreen State College professor who questioned the school's request that white people vacate campus during a day-long event for people of colour. The school has long hosted an annual two-part event known as the Day of Absence and Day of Presence, which traditionally begins with a day of off-campus programming for students of colour, the Day of Absence, that coincides with on-campus workshops for the white population, known as White Guilt Day, followed by a Day of Presence, during which students compare notes from the experience. Well, that sounds like a progressive's wet dream, doesn't it? So let's just go over that again. What usually happens is that people of colour voluntarily go off campus and presumably learn about how oppressed they are for being at college. But this year they're saying that white people are not allowed on campus for a day so that people of colour can indulge their oppression narratives. So why have they changed the format? Well, because some precious snowflakes have been triggered by the Orange God King. This year, however, the Cooper Point Journal reports that the format was flipped in response to complaints from non-white students that they feel unwelcome on campus in the wake of Donald Trump's election, with white students and faculty members being asked to vacate the campus for the day. So Donald Trump is scary, he's white, and therefore all white people are scary and need to vacate the campus grounds so that pathetic, weak victims of colour can host their annual cry-in. The decision did not sit well with Professor Bret Weinstein, who sent an all-staff email arguing that the new approach radically changes the nature of the event from aspirational to condemnatory. And let's have a look at that email. There's a huge difference between a group or coalition deciding to voluntarily absent themselves from a shared space in order to highlight their vital and underappreciated roles, and a group or coalition encouraging another group to go away. The first is a forceful call to consciousness, which is, of course, crippling to the logic of oppression. The second is a show of force and an act of oppression in and of itself. You may take this letter as a formal protest of this year's structure, and you may assume I will be on campus on the day of absence. I would encourage others to put phenotype aside and reject this new formulation, whether they have registered for it already or not. On a college campus, one's right to speak or to be must never be based on skin colour. Now you know by now exactly what played out next. The guy that suggested skin colour should not be the basis for who should or shouldn't be allowed to speak gets called a racist. And as you may have guessed by now, this is a very liberal college, and the alleged racist professor is very progressive. I mean, just ask him.
And I assume you're no kind of right-winger. If you teach at Evergreen, I'm sure you're, a Hillary voter, but you had this...
No, not a Hillary voter. I'm a deeply progressive person, and I must say
there you go.
I'm troubled by what this implies about the current state of the left.
Well, what it implies about you, Professor, is that you need to get out more, because the left lost its collective fucking mind a while back. I think you might have missed it. So this is a classic case, as the professor's brother Bret Weinstein said, of the left eating itself. So let's check out exactly what these social justice lunatics are up to.
Difference between debate and dialectic. Debate, wait a second. No, it is. Debate means you are trying to win. Dialectic means you are using disagreement to discover what is true. I am not interested in debate. I am interested only in dialectic, which does mean I listen to you and you listen to me.
We don't care what terms you want to speak on. This is not about you.
I'm talking all about him.
On terms of white privilege. This is not a discussion. You have lost that one.
I am talking about terms that serve the truth. Those are the terms.
House of dialectic. You said some racist shit. Can you apologize?
I did not. Okay. You don't know. Emails and target students of color.
found nothing racist about his music.
Do I think that black students in sciences are targeted here? Do I think they're targeted anywhere?
Speak to what you know and speak to the truth.
Okay. I do not believe that students of color are targeted in the sciences here.
Why?
But maybe I misunderstand what you mean by targeted.
Targeted by racism.
Oh my God.
Get the fuck out.
So wait a second. To me, targeted means something different than what I just heard you define it as. I do not believe that anybody on our faculty with intent specially targets.
Exactly.
Fuck what you gotta say!
Public protest. Was that not targeting people of color?
I'm sorry.
Absence for people of color.
I didn't hear you at the beginning.
Your protest of day of absence, your presence taken as a protest, if you will. That's what you said in your email.
Yes.
But you're saying
Targeting for black students.
May I answer that question?
Okay.
Wait a second. First of all, day of absence has been here longer than I have. I have never protested it until the idea. Until
keep your fucking ass here.
No.
Yes, you did.
First of all, I didn't say. Would you like to hear the answer or not?
No.
Okay.
You're useless, then. You're not learning anything.
No. Chill. Listen.
Stop telling people of color they're fucking useless. You're useless. Get the fuck out.
Stop. Chill.
Fuck you.
Please.
Piece of shit.
Listen.
Somebody kick this.
Do you understand? History could pivot in this hallway right now. If we turn it. Oh my God! Listen to me. Yes, I know. History could pivot in the direction of the values that you are standing here for.
Yeah, resign.
What?
Resign.
I'm not resigning.
Okay.
If I owe an apology, I will deliver it.
Wait, hey. Ho ho! Bret Weinstein! Hey hey! Ho ho! Bret Weinstein's got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! Bret Weinstein's got to go!
If you can watch that without feeling rage, without wanting to smash the living shit out of these snot-nosed emotional invalids, then you're a better person than me.
Yeah, I'm fucking better than you.
So that video goes on for about another 8 minutes. Basically, the students file out of the building chanting their newly acquired nursery rhyme, and listen to what else they got up to.
What happened after the video cut out?
Well, that's an interesting story. The campus police apparently showed up outside of the classroom. The protesters then blocked their entrance. I did not call the police. Someone else called the police, and they were concerned for my safety. But when they tried to come into the building to make sure that I was okay, the protesters blocked them. And because the issue of policing is so sensitive at the moment, the police had to run around and find another entrance to the building to get inside and check with me. At the point they did that, the protesters moved on and corralled the president of the college at his office. They extracted some demands from him. Among the demands was that there would be a meeting, well, actually, demands is perhaps the wrong word, a concession, that there would be a meeting at 4 o'clock in a large room on top of our library building. So that meeting took place at the end of the day, and believe it or not, it was far crazier than the video that you just showed.
So I assume the meeting he talks about is this one, which goes on for a little over an hour. Now, the first 12 minutes or so is completely dull and boring, but when it opens up for questions, the lunacy the good professor alluded to kicks into full gear. Here's just a sample.
Okay, I'm curious specifically why Bret hasn't been fired, and I understand that...
When you walk down the hallways and you see Donald Trump's face plastered everywhere, you know, in a direct, like, salute to white supremacy. What about this environment does empower racists who don't even go here to attack black students? I feel like it needs to go beyond just trainings and meetings and be actively talked about. Intersectionality needs to be at the forefront of this university.
I have a proposed solution for something that you can do right now, and that is to disavow white supremacy. Like, you make promises, like at the institution you make promises, but this is an institution on first indigenous land. Like, every single thing about this institution is a testament to white supremacy. So if you don't actively disavow, as the president, there's a lot of things you can't do, but something that you can do as a figurehead of the school is actively lead, disavowing and saying that that's not there. There's nothing that you can say to console us, to make us feel safer if this place is welcome and embracing the people who want us dead.
I had a question.
Jess, please.
So, considering that you sent out an email inviting all of the wicked violence of whiteness to once again violate us, hurt us, damage black bodies in whichever way they want to, what are you doing right now to protect us?
I'm listening to you. I'm taking your recommendations.
That's not how you protect somebody that's in danger. That's not what you do. Because guess what? What y'all do when white people are in danger is y'all call Olympia Police Department to campus. That's what y'all do. Y'all do that to protect you. So what are you doing to protect us? What are you doing to protect people who you don't even want here in the first place? Hey. That's what college is for. You know that's what college is for. Higher education was not for black and brown people. So the fact that you sent out an email inviting us to once again be put in danger and signed your signature on the end, what are you going to do? Right now, I don't care about a plan. I'm talking about action. Because if it was your kids, you would be doing hell and high water.
Woo! You feel stressed? You feel fucking pressure? Get to fight every day! I can't adjourn this shit. Amen.
Honestly, this should not be surprising to any of us. This is the same person who said they needed to show up to peaceful protest with guns because it's peaceful until it's not. Fuck you and fuck the police!
Your ancestors came here of free choice and decided to bring along my people of not of their own free will to work and build this country. Okay, and so I'm just letting you know that slavery still has repercussions in society today. And that is what we're here about. Those repercussions. It doesn't go away. It's not over.
Because I'm still wondering why when white students are in danger, you can call the police to come and help them. When white faculty is in danger, you can call motherfucking backup for them. No, that's crazy, huh? But how many black and brown students have stood up and told you we were in danger, and your ass is still standing over there, and you ain't got shit to say? You don't got shit to say. Police chief, you don't got shit to say. Hello, Ken, how you doing today? You don't got shit to say. Come on now. And let me remind y'all, that's how whiteness works. Whiteness is the most violent fucking system to ever breathe.
That's just a taste of what went on at that so-called meeting. Now, as I said in the beginning, this incident is potentially dangerous because when you hear the shrill, unhinged nature of these psychos, it feels like it's only a matter of time before they get violent. And remember, this guy is one of their own. They have no desire to listen or engage in dialogue. They're not asking, they're demanding. And you keep hearing about how they're in danger. Well, here's the professor the next day being interviewed again.
Downtown Olympia. We're holding class here because I have been told by the chief of police that it is not safe for me to be on campus. The police are currently locked down in the police station, and the chief told me that she was not in a position to protect me if something were to happen. I, in fact, tried to come here by bicycle this morning, and when I encountered the chief of police, she told me she was very concerned about my riding a bicycle, that if I was to be identified, that she was concerned for my safety. It is also true that students have apparently had pictures circulated online that advertise that people who are either my current students or who are supportive of me for whatever reason, their pictures are to be made available to other folks. The reason isn't clear, but it's obviously menacing to have people circulating pictures that we identified.
These students are not only here because they want to get an education, they're here off campus as well because they're concerned for their safety.
They are concerned for their safety, and I must say many were concerned for their safety and my safety, frankly, on Tuesday. Which was quite intense. Initially, I was not concerned for my safety. I felt that the protest, while it was very heated, was a potential opportunity to meet people on the other side of a contentious issue and to have dialogue. And I thought, actually, what happened in the morning, as contentious as it was productive. What happened later in the day was quite frightening.
Now, of course, the question that should always be asked is, where are the adults? Where are the people that are supposed to be in charge?
Your president is a guy called George Bridges. Where was he? Why isn't... There he is right there. George Bridges is supposed to be running this school. Why is he allowing a mob to threaten one of his professors?
Well, I must say, I have some concern that the story is so strange that it's not even going to make sense to an audience that isn't local to the campus. Dr. Bridges is allowing this mob to effectively control the campus, and they have been in control since 9:30 on Tuesday morning. At this moment, I believe Dr. Bridges is answering a set of demands put forward by the protesters, and they have said that if he does not accept their demands, that there will be violence. I do not know what his response to those demands is going to be, but I know that that's taking place at this hour. He has also told the police to stand down. So although the campus police have a sense of what it is that needs to happen in a circumstance like this, they have been hobbled by the fact that they answer to the college administration, and in fact for several days have been barricaded in the campus police station.
Oh my gosh!
So there you have it. Cowardly college administrators giving in to the demands of cry-bullies. So this is an ongoing situation. I'm sure there'll be updates. I think the more people that see the video of that so-called meeting, the better. It's a state university, so taxpayers should start asking questions about what's going on with their higher education system. But since it's located in progressive Washington state, just outside of progressive Seattle, maybe this is just what the locals want. If you're a subscriber or a viewer of this video from up that way, maybe you could chime in with some comments. Anyway, I thought the best way to go out this week would be with a blast from the past, an excerpt from a podcast with Douglas Murray and Sam Harris last year when talking about the Yale Halloween costume meltdown. Enjoy.
Just before the atrocities in Paris, the previous news story was the students at Yale, where we just saw these students, and their shrieking narcissism. I mean, these are among the most privileged kids in human history, and they became moral and psychological invalids in response to a polite email about Halloween costumes.
Yeah.
So something is very strange on the left right now.
Well,
what the hell is going on?
Could I give one explanation of what it is? Another conservative who I'm sure would make you tingle with slight fear, as it were, if I mentioned his name. But an American conservative who used to be on the left and moved very much to the right, David Horowitz. He said some years ago something very interesting about 1968. Now, I mean, we might have all sorts of issues about this, but he said something to me I think is far more true today, which is that the surprising thing is not that young people would rebel. Young people always rebel. This is something that young people do. The surprising thing is, why did the adults give in? Now, I think this is far more relevant to today rather than 1968. The amazing question which hovers over Yale University is, why do the adults sit and take it and the kids can run rampage? Why? What's happened to? And this is the really large problem, which Islamists and other terrible people are simply taking advantage of. Somebody needs to say to the shrieking girl who's effing and blinding at her professor, you know what? You're not at a home. This is not a home for you. It's a university. It's a very different thing. And what's more, if you cannot cope with Halloween costumes, then you've got no place at a university, because you're going to have no chance of dealing with quantum physics or Shakespeare or Heidegger if Halloween spooks you out this much. You're a useless person, and you're going to go into a useless career, because if you're a lawyer and you have gone to Yale, but you're too sensitive to hear about rape cases, you're not going to be able to represent anyone in a court of law. So you're no use for the law. You're no use for literature, because you might read a novel which will trigger you. You're no use for the sciences. You're no use for anything. And that's what the adults should be saying. They should be telling the kids to grow up. And the adults have lost their confidence. And that is the most striking thing to me.
And by the way, Claire Lehman of Rebel Media tweeted this out yesterday. So if you'd like to hear these guys talk about Douglas Murray's new book, please retweet this at Sam Harris and Douglas Murray. I think that would be a fascinating conversation to listen to. Anyway, I'll see you next time.